Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Daze and welcome to Wrestling Daze Reviews. We've got a lot to go through. There was a lot on this week's NXT. It was a really steady, solid, enjoyable episode. I don't know that it was a spectacular episode, although I will say there were certainly a few moments that caught my attention in particular. I thought the match between Axiom and Nathan Frazier, I thought that was very, very good. And Sonya Deville. Sonya Deville was kind of a standout moment as well. I also thought I was going to see Thea Hale in action, but I was brutally denied. I really do like her energy, so I was looking forward to that match, but we didn't really get a match. It was a roll-up, and we can get to it. But yeah, let's start, shall we? So the show begins straight away with a match between Bron Breakker and Javier Barnel. This is a squash match. It takes all of 3 minutes something. It really no time at all. The straps come down by Bron. He means business. Big power slam, getting the victory. And Bron Breakker gets the win. Straight after that, we get a big kind of brawl, big melee. You've got Ilja Dragunov getting involved. You've got JD Madonna getting involved as well. Obviously, these three are on a collision course for Halloween Havoc. That's a week on Saturday, I believe. At the moment, I do have plans to do that, but Saturdays are a bit of a nightmare for me because we've got UFC, we've got boxing, we've got a lot of things that we have to do. But I do really want to do that show. Of course I do. So, yeah, at the moment, I think we are able to do it. I'm sure we looked at it and it does just miss something else that's on that Saturday. So I'm hopefully we can get that done. But yeah, we are building towards a championship match for these three, Ilja, JD, and Bron. And it looked like Ilja was trying to get at JD, but he actually connects with Bron right at the start of the show. So yeah, I mean, not that Ilja cared. He still grabbed the title and was holding the title up. Ilja's not too bothered about it, but I don't think he connected with the person he was intending to connect with. So little sub-story going on there as the two faces kind of getting into a little bit of each other's way. Going forward, we then got our second match. Our second match was the Nathan Frazier against Axiom match. This one went, I think it was it was over 10 minutes, about 11, 12 minutes. Really good. Really, really good. I mean, it's so hard to put into words why this match was so impressive, but it was a spot fest. It was everything that their previous matches have been. It was a little clunky in places, and it wasn't perfect. It wasn't perfectly clean. Like, I can't say this is a 5-star match by any means, but I do think that this might have got to the 4-star range. I don't feel like it's 3.5, or I don't even think 3.75. Like, this really could be 4 stars. Very fast pace, lots of reversals. I mean, reversals of reversals of reversals. And it just had a lovely kind of, as I said, energy to it, lovely pace to it. We was seeing superplexes. There was a great moment, actually, where I think there was a superplex, and then he goes to pick him up, but Axiom actually gets round the back of Nathan Frazier and actually even gets like a rear naked choke applied. And it was just like it was just constantly swinging back and forth. Everything you expect from these two. I mean, both of these are great in the air. They're great on the mat. They're pretty tidy all-rounders, actually. And you can see why they've just been booked in a best-of-3 kind of contest. And it was 1-1 going into this. This was also a qualifier for the ladder match for the vacant North American Championship. So there was plenty at stake at this one, and you can see it is Nathan Frazier that picked up the victory. That finishes the lineup for the ladder match then. So it's going to be at Halloween Havoc, Carmelo Hayes taking on Oro Mensah, taking on Wesley, taking on Von Wagner, taking on Nathan Frazier. So it looks like that is going to be the 5 men that are going to be competing in the ladder match. What a lineup that is. That's going to be wild. So very much looking forward to that one. So that is the lineup finished for the ladder match. Then we went to our next match. Now, this was Valentina. I think her name is Perez. She used to be in a tag team, but her partner's injured at the moment. For some reason, she was backstage asking Sanka to look after her back and watch her back. I don't know. I didn't really understand why. Who's going to come down and attack her? She got a feud with someone at the moment. I'm not aware of anything, so I didn't really get this. I didn't really understand why he needed to be there. I don't think he felt he needed to be there either, because Via came down, had a word with him, and they did one. So clearly they've got something going on, some kind of target. But yeah, I mean, you proper let her down there. I hope this is important. I hope Veer didn't just come out and go, do you want to grab a bite to eat? Do you want to go and play some computer games? They've got like a PS5 set up out there. And he just did one because that's pretty moody. Yeah, they walk away. So she's on her own. But no one attacks her anyway. Like, there was no need for him to be there. Nothing happens. The match continues. It's Valentina against Indy Hartwell. Indy Hartwell gets the win. This is clean. It's fine. Not that long. It was all right, actually. This was all right. I mean, obviously a step down from the Nathan Frazier Axiom match. I do feel so sorry for Indy Hartwell. I've got no idea what we're doing with her. I feel like her being in the way and her with Dexter, it was brilliant stuff. And then since then, we've kind of been a bit lost. Like, we just don't really know what to do. We don't really know what to do with her. She was in like a tag team with Persia Pirotta and it didn't really work. And I mean, they were doing some stuff, but it was nowhere near as good as The Way. It was nowhere near as good as the Dexter stuff. I feel like she was super hot. Then she called off and now we're just, I mean, a few weeks back, I thought she had left NXT and was going to the main roster. And it felt like Dexter was taking her to the main roster with him. And here she is faffing around still. So I feel really sorry for her. I felt even worse for her as well because she wins her match and straight away up in the stands, we've got Pretty Deadly. They're here to watch this match. This is the next match. Indy Hartwell's looking up and smiling at them because it looks like they're there to cheer her on. They've got like, you know, I think Go written on the front, G-O. They got the shirts off and, you know, they got like fun hats on and they seem to be there like cheering. She's looking up at them with a smile on her face. They totally ignore her. Totally ignore her. They start talking about how they're there to watch the tag teams. I felt so bad for her. I mean, like, she's just in a match that doesn't really matter. Then there's some people that arrive at the very end, interrupt her celebrating her moment. She looks up and she's nice about it. Turns out they're not there for her. I mean, it just sucks to be Indy Hartwell at the moment. It really sucks. I feel so sorry for her. Someone needs to just give her a cuddle. So, yeah, that was a downer. But we move straight into our next match. This is the 3 tag teams of Anofi and Blades, the Dyad, and also Briggs and Jensen. Winners will go on to face Pretty Deadly, the tag team champs. And it was looking good for the Dyads. Joe Gacy on the outside, but you can see Cameron Grimes. Cameron Grimes comes out and jumps on Joe Gacy, deals with him. That causes a distraction, and it results in Anofe and Blades picking up the victory. Little roll-up, cheeky roll-up. Isn't it always a cheeky roll-up? I don't know if I've ever seen a match end any other way than a cheeky roll-up now. I just see it so much, so often that, yeah, I just feel like every match ends this way. But a cheeky little roll-up, and it was a win for Anofi and Blade. So they will go on to face Pretty Deadly. Then we went backstage and saw fake Stephanie. I would love a fake Triple H. Oh, God, they should so do that. We've got fake Stephanie here. We need a fake Triple H to be with her. Even if, like, it's someone that just looks a little like Triple H and you can't quite tell if they're making out this is Steph and Triple H or not. Like, it's just close enough that it could be. I would definitely do that. But she was talking about Chase U and how the land is worth a lot more than the university that's actually built on it. And she's going to try and get an acquisition of it, and I don't know, I didn't really follow it. What I did get from it was that she's got a match against one of the Chase U members. Straight away, that made me think of the smaller woman, girl, whatever, that's always full of energy. I love her. Her name's Thea. Thea Hale. And I don't know that I've seen her compete before, but I have commented on her quite a few times because I just love her energy. She's like such a ball of energy. It's like, whenever I watch her, it riles me up as well. I'm like, she proper brings me into the show. I could be like really not feeling it, but if she's on screen, I'd be like, yeah, let's go. So I really enjoy watching her. So yeah, this set up a match between those two, Fake Stephanie. Her real name, her stage name is something James. Can't remember. What? Kyra James? Something along those lines. Kiana James. I think it's Kiana James. Kiana James is her name. And as we said, she was taking on Thea Hale later in the show. Then we went forwards and we got Alba Fyre taking on Jacy Jayne. So this was all right. Again, not the longest encounter, but it was all right. And Alba Fyre picks up the win. Now, what's really cool here is Alba Fyre is celebrating. She's beaten Jacy Jayne. Over by the entranceway, she starts to walk out. And over by the entranceway, there's someone in like a black hoodie. They grab a hold of her. To be honest, at first, I really didn't know if it wasn't someone in the crowd that had, because we've sadly seen people do that. Crowd members jumping barricades and, attacking Seth Rollins. That was the most recent. So part of me wondered if someone had just grabbed her. And I was like, oh my God. So at first I was a bit like, what's going on? But then, of course, you very quickly realize it's a plant, someone that was planted there. And it wasn't just anyone. It was Sonya Deville. Sonya Deville was planted in the crowd in a black hoodie. And it's a pretty cool moment, man. I mean, we have seen people like Dolph Ziggler. We had Charlotte Flair down there, Natalia. Like, they do turn to some of these main roster stars to just give NXT a little bit of a boost every once in a while. And Sonya Deville, that's pretty cool. I know she's not the biggest name, but I like it. It's pretty cool. I remember watching her when she was in NXT before, so it's pretty cool. And she went after Alba Fyre. She was helping Toxic Attraction, which is very interesting because obviously this is a group led by Mandy Rose. Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville are super close. It's really great friends. They've opened up a donut shop together in real life. So we know they're really close. Of course, they've had beef storyline-wise, but she would actually address that later in the show. She's basically saying, if you come after Mandy, you come after me. We've had our differences, but we're still great friends. And so, yeah, kind of, it's interesting. I'm really interested in Mandy, Sonya, Jacy, Gigi. Like, they've actually managed to make a Toxic Attraction, like, more appealing for me. Like, I'm not the biggest Toxic Attraction fan. I think they've improved a lot. I really was not feeling Jacy Jayne, Gigi Dolan at the start. I know Gigi was Priscilla Kelly and she's got plenty of, like, indie experience, but I just wasn't feeling it. I don't know what it was. Like, I didn't think she was coming across all that well. She came across as a bit amateurish to me. I don't know. Perhaps the indies just aren't what they used to be. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Her reputation, I've heard of Priscilla Kelly. I've even watched some of her matches. Her matches have always been all right, but actually watching her week after week after week, at the start, I just really wasn't that impressed. But watching it now, I think they're really in their groove. They've got a lot of confidence. Could have just been nerves. Could have been like them trying to get into a groove, find their position in the company. So, yeah, I was not the biggest fan at the start, but they've grown on me. And adding Sonya, I think, is very interesting. So, yeah, I'm really down for this. I'm really down for this. She said she'd be on the show next week. So it seems like we're going to get Sonya Deville versus Alba Fyre next week. Then we got this segment where Jacy was calling out Cameron Grimes because of what happened earlier in the show. You can see the dyad really upset, Jacy really upset. But then, of course, moments after this, we get easily the greatest moments of NXT this week. And that is when they throw the camera down on the floor, they walk away and trailing behind, completely ignored, not being acknowledged at all. The anti-Roman Reigns, no one is acknowledging her. It was Red Riding Hood. Red Riding Hood was there, but wasn't being acknowledged, wasn't being spoken to, being completely ignored. The disrespect that Red Riding Hood continues to receive is just easily my favorite part of the week. I now tune in to NXT to find out new ways that we can disrespect Red Riding Hood. Last week we saw Jacy having a go at Red Riding Hood, and Red Riding Hood had her head down, all moping like a 12-year-old teenager. Now, Red Riding Hood's getting completely ignored and having to, like, shuffle along in the background. I can't wait. I can't wait to see what they do next week to Red Riding Hood. So this was easily the best part of the night, and I will not allow anyone to tell me different. Moving on, we got this moment backstage between Hank Walker and Quincy Elliott. And Quincy went to walk away, like all the security guards were wishing him the best for next week. He's going to be taking on Zion Quinn. And Hank Walker, as Quincy walks away, Hank gives him a little pat on the backside. You might remember Quincy did that to Hank last week. Hank now doing it in return. And Quincy went, oh, Hanky, I don't know where this is going. I seriously don't know if we're going to be seeing two guys getting into a relationship or something. I don't know. I don't know if this is just flirting. I don't know what this is. So something to keep an eye on here. Certainly if these two were going to be in like a relationship, that would feel, you know, we have not seen much of that at all. It does conjure up Billy and Chuck kind of memories. But I feel like this would be, if it goes that way, kind of trailblazing. Kind of, do you know what I mean? Dare I say overdue as well? We'll have to see. So Quincy and Hank, definitely something to keep an eye on. Then we got Wesley, and he was in action. He was taking on Stax, and it was a victory for Wesley. I must admit, outside of Axiom and Nathan Frazier, I don't think there was anything in ring this week that was that great. A lot of the matches were just so, to be honest. Just pretty standard affair. Thought the main event was all right, had its moments. It was always going to because Ilja Dragunov, you know, big fan. But Axiom against Nathan Frazier was easily the best match, and I don't think anything got really to that level at all. But, you know, this was what it was. It had a little bit of time, and Wesley picks up the victory. Then we got Carmelo and Trick attack Wesley. So obviously that's setting up something for the future, as it was a 2-on-1 attack, but then Wwe Nxt would come and make the save. It does make me wonder if next week, and I don't think they announced it, makes me wonder if next week this will be a tag match. Trick Williams, Carmelo Hayes against Wesley and Wwe Nxt. So I could definitely see things heading in that direction for next week as we continue to build towards Halloween Havoc. Then we got our little backstage moment. Priscilla Kelly, Gigi Dolan, Jacy Jayne, Sonya Deville. They were all backstage, and this is where Sonya was explaining the fact that she'll be in the ring next week. And basically, if Alba Fyre has got any desire to go to Halloween Havoc, she should not show up next week. But they did announce later in the show that she would, and they did announce later in the show that it would be a match. So Sonya Deville against Alba Fyre next week on NXT, which is pretty exciting. Then we saw a little video thing where Roddy is getting treatment. Obviously, he was beaten up in the car park, isn't everyone in NXT? And he was talking to Diamond Mine. We had Ivy Nile, we had the Creed brothers. They were basically apologizing. Everyone was apologizing because obviously they suspected him of foul play, but it turned out to be Damon Kemp that was the black sheep in Diamond Mine. So, yeah, it was kind of like a nice little moment here. And Roddy tells Julius to get the win, basically. Get the win, get the job done, deal with Damon Kemp. So just setting up that match. It's an ambulance match, actually, for Halloween Havoc. Then, this sucked. This sucked because this was the match I was super pumped for. This is fake Stephanie taking on Thea Hale, and I was so excited, but Robert Stone interfered and basically said, "You embarrassed me last week," to Thea Hale. And Thea Hale dealt with him, like managed to get him out the ring. But as she was distracted, guess what? Roll up by fake Stephanie on Thea Hale. And that means that fake Stephanie picks up the victory in about all of 5 seconds. So, yeah, real shame. I was so pumped during the watch along for this, and I was denied. Then before we get to our main event, we actually get a few bits of information. So one of them is that Roxanne is going to be picking Cora's opponent for next week from SmackDown. And Cora is going to pick Roxanne's opponent from Raw. Cora actually said, "Have you got Ronda's number?" I would love to see Ronda in NXT. But I don't think that's happening. So, yes, they are going to the different brands to pick each other's opponents. And I believe that's next week. Then we also heard that Stax, who lost, obviously, against Wesley, he is going to take on a mystery person. This person is of Tony's choosing. So that's going to be happening next week as well. And then we went to our main event. This main event got around about 10 minutes. It was Ilja taking on Grayson Waller. And Ilja would pick up the victory in the end. So a victory for Ilja Dragunov. And just as he was celebrating, Bron Breakker arrived and took him out. Obviously a receipt for what happened earlier in the show. So, yeah, as I said, all of that was within 2 hours. Some surprises, certainly the Sonya Deville thing. Some good action, certainly the Axiom Nathan Frazier match. Always great to see Ilja Dragunov, and he was in the main event. We got Bron Breakker in action, but it was only for about 3 minutes. So there was highs, few little lows, but all in all, got to say this was a pretty solid episode of NXT. Yeah, and it was all right. I mean, I don't know. Would I tell anyone to go and race out and watch this? Probably not, to be honest. I feel like the biggest thing you need to see is maybe the Sonya moment. I feel like that's the biggest talking point. But I don't know. If you was a fan of NXT, I think you probably would have enjoyed this. I can't imagine too many people were down on this show. So, yeah, did its job. It was fine. And it sets up Halloween Havoc, which, as we said, is not that far away. Right, let's jump into the chat and see what you lot have got to say. William said, "I only simp for Mandy's infinite pool. I simp for Mandy Rose's cushions on her chair next to her pool." Adam said, UFC 280 is the same day. It's 6 hours before NXT. Thank you. I do remember we had a little look and it did seem like they should be able to avoid each other. So, yeah, that's good. I really want to do Halloween Havoc, yeah. John said the pick your poison thing should be good. Hayden said, great post-show stream days. Thank you, Hayden. I'm glad you're enjoying it, dude. Feel free to put in your thoughts about the show. Edwin said, Roxanne sent a tweet out and she said Wyatt 6 could help her for a Cora Jade situation. I mean, they won't, to be honest. She's not going to go that way. But just like how Ronda was mentioned, and I don't see Ronda coming into NXT. I mean, they'll end up picking a couple of people, you know. One might get Xia Li. Someone might go and get, I don't know. If I was to predict who they'll go and get, they'll want a little bit of star power, to be honest. They'll want a little bit of star power, but maybe a Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan would be pretty cool, wouldn't it? Liv Morgan. They could go and get Liv Morgan. They could maybe go and get, don't think it'll be anyone like Bianca. I don't think it'll be like a champion. Xia Li, I don't know if she's... Xia Li's kind of cool because she's got the martial arts. So she's an interesting kind of person to go and get. Shayna Baszler is an interesting person to get. Shayna Baszler would be great. Xia Li, I could understand. Liv Morgan's a big star, so I'm kind of thinking it'll be one of them. WrestleBuzz said Dutch posted a picture with him and Vincent on Instagram. I'm the background. There's a brick. Oh, in the background, there's a brick with the number 6 in the background. Might be a reach, but why at 6? Yeah, maybe. I mean, they could be playing it up as well. Honestly, when it comes to social media teases like that, you take it with the biggest pinch of salt. But you are absolutely right to keep an eye on it, and you are absolutely right to kind of question these things. And yes, absolutely, I think there's a great chance they can join up with Bray Wyatt. Hayden said, "You're welcome. My thoughts on this week's NXT is the show was all right." Tino Sabatelli, they got engaged in September 2022. Yes, Tino and Mandy, isn't it? I believe they're in a relationship. It could be Bailey or Dakota, said Trenton. That's true. Yep, could be. Really, any woman. The only women that I wouldn't expect, I don't think Ronda is going to go to NXT, so I'd rule Ronda out, to be honest. Bianca's pretty busy. If Bianca went back, but she's so connected with NXT, she might like to do it. She might enjoy doing it. I mean, it's a little bit of like giving back in a way, isn't it? Because I think Bianca knows that when she was in NXT and someone from Raw or SmackDown came down to NXT to work with her, like when Charlotte did, like that was a big, big deal. And it really helped. So she might be thinking, well, I can use kind of my star power now to help some of those in NXT. So she might actually want to do it for that reason. Dort Knight said, I can't wait for Islam versus Oliveira. The element of knowing it can go either way is so exciting. Adam said, Crown Jewel is 2 weeks after Halloween Havoc. So far away, isn't it? I wish Crown Jewel was closer, but then I don't because we've got a lot of building to do for it. So it does make sense, but that's the only downside when you kind of don't have a pay-per-view for a while is like, or you've just had one. You've got to wait so long for the next one. Trenton said, what about Rhea? Yeah, Rhea could do it, definitely. Yeah, she could do it. Right, Shayna, Asuka, people putting in their thoughts. Let's have a look, shall we, at what people scored the show. Hopefully people have had an opportunity to get some thoughts in and get some scores in. Let's have a look. We always do it this way. I suppose I should mention this. We always do it this way. The only reason we do it this way is because this is the only way that gives us so many options as to what you want to score the show. What I might actually look at is maybe changing this a little bit. I don't know. I mean, maybe we don't need like the 1, the 5. I don't know how many people vote 1 or 1.5 or 2 or 2.5. Maybe I need to get like 875, 825, 775, and I don't know. Maybe I'll have a little look at it. But yeah, we do it this way because this way gives us so many more kind of options. You're only allowed 4 options on YouTube. So this is better as a result. Okay, so, oh, wow. I can tell you that this looks like it's going to get a score of 6. Wow. That feels light, to be honest. Feels light, but well, there we go. I mean, there we go. 6. Looks like 6 is going to be the official score for this one. If you are watching thinking this wasn't a 6, it deserved better, did you vote? That's the question. Did you vote? Because this is open and anyone can vote. There's no restrictions. But, yeah, like, boom. The only thing that we do put in is that I think you have to sign in with, like, a Google account. That information does not go anywhere, right? I do not get that information. But the reason we did it is because when we didn't do that, people just kept spamming. Like, you can actually vote more than once if you don't do it that way. And so when we did it right at the start, we was getting people just spamming things and just ruined it. So we have to do that just to stop that. That's the reason for it. Right, let's go down things people liked and the things people didn't like. Things people liked, female Oliver Twist following around Jacy. Please, sir, may I come along? That's not what Oliver Twist said. Whoever said that, you don't know Oliver Twist. Yeah? So you've let yourself down there. Ilja Dragunov beats Waller in the main event, said Hayden. Are you from Tennessee? Because you're the only 10 I see. Okay. Bron getting a bit of a payback at the end. Sonya getting involved and Grimes being a sneak. All the people frighten at Daze. Dragunov being a jobber. Waller. Sonya with Toxic Attraction. Sonya Deville showing up. Daze singing. Yeah. Frazier versus Axiom. The main event. Indy Hartwell. Sonya Deville. The main event. Sonya Deville. People loving Sonya Deville this week. Let's have a look at things people didn't like. Fake Stephanie. Yes. Yes. Gutted to see Thea Hale lose because I'm a big Thea Hale fan, says Hayden. So am I, Hayden. So am I. The one ladies match where the match lasted for about a minute. Not enough Quincy. I've got to get my super diva fix every week. Didn't feel the Booker T commentary. Oh, great shout, actually. You are right. Booker T on commentary for the first time. I must admit, I didn't hear loads of it, so I can't really say, but yeah, I'll have to listen to, I mean, the bits I caught sounded all right, but there was nothing that really caught my ear, for example. Might take a little bit for him to settle into a groove, so we'll see. We'll see. But that's a really, really interesting comment. That's a really interesting... Whoever that was, shout out to you. That's a great comment. I like Ronaldo, but I'm trying to get Messi. Okay, I'm pretty sure we booed that one during the watch-along. We did have a lot of chat-up lines during the watch-along. I have no idea why, to be honest. I legitimately don't know how that started. But pretty much the whole stream was just chat lines, chat-up lines. When Indy Hartwell wasn't there. Yeah, so Indy Hartwell did look up at the platform and had hope in her eyes that they were talking to her. They then clearly weren't, and so she had to just kind of leave the ring quietly. And because when we went back to the ring, she'd gone. So, yeah, heartbreaking. Joe Gacy, brackets, Bray Wyatt wannabe. Robert Stone ruining the match. Oh, God, I know. Do you know what? I love this community. I feel like we've got our priorities right. Yeah, I really wanted to see her, Thea Hale in action. No Tiffany, no Sorey. Me falling asleep. Didn't have any bad parts. Rambling Rabbit, must have missed that. Robert Stone, yes. Thea losing, yes. Nothing, wrong. Gacy, also wrong. And none, wrong. No, guys, you were right. If you said Thea Hale losing, then that was actually... This week was a special week because it did actually have a correct answer, and it was Thea Hale losing. So there we go. William said, if I was a comic book villain, I would be number 2. My superpower would be I could throw my poop anywhere. Well, I just want to take this opportunity to thank William for putting that in the chat during this official NXT review and actually putting it repeatedly so that I definitely had to read it. So... shout out to William Hensey. Pablo said, is The Fiend a heel because he is brought back by Triple H? No, I don't think you need to think of it that way. I think you just need to look like Bray's back. The reason why he's back, we don't know. So obviously, yes, Triple H has brought him back, but I don't think you really look at that or that forms as part of a story. So. The bonus of no pay-per-view is no go-home show with no content. That's true, actually, yes. We did get a better show. If this was a go-home, it would have been pretty rubbish. Bunkers said Devin Haney against George Cambosis Jr. 2 is this weekend. David said, where to sign up? For the vote-in, but it's the pinned comment at the top of the chat. So always put the link at the top. And that should take you straight over. But I wouldn't do it for this one. Do it for the others, basically. Because we are looking to wrap this up in about 5 minutes' time. So Shakeem said, I say nothing. Well, this is your opportunity to say something, Shakeem. So you know, you've got that chance now, my friend. You've got that chance now. I think that, as I said, this was all right. I do think that the 6 was a little bit low, but hey ho, look, that's how it goes. The people have spoken, and they've given it a 6. I am quite impressed with the Axiom match and Nathan Frazier. I really don't know where they're going to go from here, though, because they've obviously just done like a best of 3 against each other. And I do think that has been very entertaining. Where do they go from here? Like, I don't know. It's hard to see how far Axiom is going to go. Like, those kind of masked wrestlers seem to really struggle with. I feel like I'm right in saying, other than Ray, have we ever had a masked high flyer really get anywhere in WWE? I mean, Ray obviously did, but then Rey Mysterio has got to be one of the greatest masked wrestlers of all time. You can go to Mexico, and like pretty much all the bootleg stands there are selling knockoff Rey Mysterio masks. Like, he's a massive, massive star. But I look at Axiom, and I don't know, I see a bit of Gran Metalik. I see a bit of Lince Dorado. I see a bit of Kalisto. Do you know what I mean? I see a bit of Sin Cara. I look at some of these names, and they just didn't really get anywhere, you know? And I do worry a bit for Axiom as a result. I think with wrestling, the ability to get your facial expressions across is really important, because that's how you can get sympathy. Like, people can see that you're hurt. How can you see that Axiom is hurt with the kind of full mask? Even Ray's mask allows him to get expressions across, but a full mask does not allow that. So, like, I do just worry a bit for Axiom. I think Nathan Frazier's going to get somewhere. But yeah, I do think there's something in not being able to see someone's face. Robin said, no more Vince means luchas will have more success in WWE. Do you think Cody Rhodes will win the WWE Championship at WrestleMania? Yeah, I do. I think that there's a big chance of him achieving that. I think Cody needs a title, needs a WWE Championship, and I think that he could get it at WrestleMania, the grandest stage of them all. And I think as soon as he does, then that's when Austin Theory cashes in. Austin Theory cashing in at that moment is very much what I'm looking for. That's very much what I'm thinking they're going to do, because that would just get him mad heat. Mad heat. William says NXT could be the bootleg version of the main roster talent. But we answered that about Cody. Yes, people always ask me my thoughts on things. I feel like somewhere in there is the answer they give me credit for. Okay, nice. David said, I found that link. Thanks. No worries, dudes. No worries. Bonker said, that was me with the Booker T commentary. I just did not feel it. That's a really good point. It's a really, really good point, because, as we said, Booker T on commentary of NXT for the first time. And yeah, I mean, maybe it didn't work. I can't really comment too much on it because I caught bits, and I can't say that there was anything that stood out as offensive, but I can't say there's anything that stood out as amazing either, to be honest. So yeah, I could understand if people were down on it, but give him time, give him chance. I think he'll get somewhere with it eventually. But yeah, no, it was a great shout. So Bunkers, I don't know if that was you, but I'm going to give you the credit anyway because you claimed that it was. So shout out to you for that. And with that being said, I think we've done about 40 odd minutes. And honestly, for this NXT, that feels about right. So appreciate people stopping by and sharing their thoughts for this NXT review. And as we said, we are back tomorrow for AEW. So we are back tomorrow for that. And yeah, appreciate the support, and I will see you again next time. Bye for now.